had so much fun with card kits last year, I'm bringing more of them into the new year. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I'm going to create a really fun card project using two kits, separate kits, from Spellbinders. I'm using the 3D Embossing Folder of the Month kit and the Small Die of the Month kit. I'm going to take both of these kits and combine the products into one fun card. This is a little more involved than some of the cards I normally do, and I'm excited to try my hand at floral arranging, and of course, we're going to have some gorgeous 3D embossing. To see that card project, stick around. It's coming up next. Here's a look at the two different kit products that I am going to be using in today's card. The first is the 3D Embossing Folder of the Month Club, and for January 2023, this is called Floral Archway. It's just under 6 inches wide by 9 tall and has this beautiful floral design and the open archway to emboss a gorgeous design into any piece of cardstock. Then I have the Small Die of the Month Club. This is called Sentimental Ampersand. The dies do not come on this magnetic backer. This is just from my collection, and I wanted to have everything laid out so you could see it easily. It comes with all of these greetings that are designed to impress the sentiment into your cardstock, and they come with dies to cut out the sentiments, plus the large ampersand, a little ampersand detail, some greenery and floral elements to create some gorgeous clusters around the ampersand. This is going to be a really fun way to use up scraps, so I'm excited to get started. And again, this is the Small Die of the Month Club, and this is the 3D Folder of the Month Club. So let's get started with picking out some cardstock for die cutting. So I've got this little scrap bin that I just have filed into pinks, oranges, green, blues, purples, and it's very organized, so don't think that it's always going to look like this, but it's relatively new, which is why it looks, well, so organized. And I am going to keep my project today very simple. So I've pulled some greens for the leaves, a couple different pinks for my flowers. I've got this little fun silver detail for this little ampersand detail, and some white cardstock. Now, I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do the greetings until I get the card laid out, so let's get started with some die cutting for the floral elements and the ampersand. Today I'll be using my pretty Aqua Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I have the universal platform plates in, so I've got platform A and platform B for cutting, okay? And of course, if you ever get these or a machine and you want to know how to use them, the formulas are right here. So for basic die cutting, we've got platform A and B. Then I've got platform C. That's one of my cutting plates. And then I will have another cutting plate to put on top. So let me go ahead and I'll put on a little bit of music and we'll just cut out a whole bunch of things. Now that I've got many things cut here, I think what I'm going to do is do my 3D embossed panel. I've trimmed this panel to be 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 tall, and I think that will be right for my card. And I can always trim it down if I want to, but what I'm going to do is take out the plates, right? Take out the cutting plate. And for the 3D folder, here is the sandwich. So here we have the adapter plate D, 3D embossing folder with paper inside, and platform A. So let me grab the adapter plate D. We have that there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give this a little light mist off camera. Not much, but when I'm using a heavy cardstock like Neenah Solar White in the 110. It will help just soften the fibers. I'll do this just off camera. I'll spray mist and just drag the paper up through the mist, just a little. And now what I'll do is I will place this into the folder. I'm going to just hold this here until I get the archway framed right how I would like it to be. And I think that's pretty good, actually. That'll be nice, because all this is going to do, oh look, and then just clamp it together. It's going to give us that tone-on-tone texture. So I'm going to go with the spine first through the base, and then I'm going to take adapter plate D, place that on top, holding everything in place, and then we're going to run it through. Take that off, and when I open this up, you will see the amazing 3D texture that is in that panel. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, this just by itself, right, would be absolutely amazing to have with a simple greeting and, you know, that's it. But I'm going to set this aside as we start to design the rest of the project. So now I've got everything laid out. I actually did 2 ampersands that I'm going to glue together for a bit more dimension. But here's the thing. I think I want to pop this onto my panel or onto my note card first, because if I do, then I'm going to be able to see what I'm doing a lot more clearly. But I also wanted to show you something that I just bought. My score tool, my little friend here, it's just gotten very flat on the top, and you can buy replacements. Now, I realize that I also have my Teflon bone folder, but sometimes I just like to have a nice tool that's ready to go in this space. So if your tool ever isn't giving you the best little score line, you can pick up another one, and then it's all ready to go. And we're going to score this right at, oh, that's so much better. Oh my gosh, 5.5. There we go. Crisp score line, ready for action. Okay, I'll go ahead and fold this down, and then I bring in my Teflon bone folder just to give that a good press so that it doesn't leave any sort of sheen on the paper. All right, and I will tape this closed so that it doesn't pop open like that while I'm designing. I'm going to add some foam tape to this panel, and then we will get to designing the floral arrangement. I put some Altenew foam tape here on the back. We'll just take these strips off, and we're going to pop this down onto the note card. So this will have just a nice, easy white margin around the edge. Very simple. And now I can lay out the other pieces. I am going to put a little spray adhesive on the back of one ampersand piece and this decorative piece. And I'm going to spray this just off camera with a little bit of my spray adhesive. So I'll go do that. Line this up right onto the other ampersands. A little tricky here. It's a little swoop-de-doo. Hold on here. I can do this. I'm going to let go, then I can just do a little wiggle into place to make sure that you have a little playtime with spray glue, not a lot, but enough to give you that result. And let me just press this down, and let me grab the shiny piece. And here, is that the way it's going to go? I think it goes the other way. There's a definite right way and wrong way. The bigger swoop is up top. The smaller is on the bottom. Oh, it's so elegant. And that's just a fun way to kind of dress it up a little. Of course, you could do it with any color you like. I just thought it would be very cute to have that bit of silver. So, pressing this down, okay? And now we'll start creating our design on the note card. One thing I may do to give that a little definition is I cut another one of these out of the silver, but I only want that extra little bit to be on the, let's see how, yep, like that. So I'm going to cut this off and see, because what could look really cute is just to have this be offset ever so slightly for a little shadow layer. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I get it where it needs to be. And again, just a little swirly of liquid glue. I'm going to let it get tacky too, so that it has a chance to, you know, not be too sticky and not oozy. So we'll let that sit for a second. And do I want to have it? I think I do. I think I want to have it on the inside. So let's just go like that and go on the inside and wiggle it around a little and pull up just a little. I'm going to let go of that. Okay, that way you have it just showing a little. Okay, so we just get that little bit of shadow and offset like that. See that? So there's just a little shine on the inside. I think that just gives it a tiny bit more definition. And now I'll just press this down like that. All right. Very subtle, but you will definitely see more of that edge once we start adhering the elements. Okay, moving on. I'm going to run my happy birthday die through the die cut machine and then frame it out so I can cut this part to see where I want the placement. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut that out with the coordinating banner. All right, so now I have this very sweet little happy birthday, right, that has a little see-through. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut one of these out of white as well so that it has a white backer. So let me do that as well. Then I'll just put a little liquid glue on here. This is just to kind of shore it up because this can either just sort of emboss or cut through. It doesn't really matter because what you're going to get is just this cute little happy birthday look. And I'm just going to wiggle this in together so this has a little more dimension. Okay, lined up, and that's going to go at the top. So the and many more will be down here. So let me go ahead and do that off camera real quick so that I can figure out the placement of all the florals. Okay, I changed my mind. I decided that I was going to do it in silver because the more I'm looking at this, I want my pop of color to be the flower. And so here, I want to continue the beautiful silver feel for the center. And actually, this looks really nice. It just embossed differently, or it cut differently on the metallic cardstock. So I don't think I need a backer for it. What I'm going to do is probably put foam squares on the back. But this, and again, this could change, but this is going to give me a better base for building my flowers to have that little pop of color. Now, of course, if you wanted to get real funky here, you could bring in some baby blender brushes and do all sorts of things, but I am going to keep it simple. So I am going to put on some more music and just start gluing some pieces together as we create our arrangement. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I want to mount happy birthday first. That way, if I get this straight, then I'll know everything else underneath it is straight. Now, all I have here are some thin foam squares, right? They don't have a huge loft to them. And I'm going to grab my tweezers and I'm going to put a little liquid glue on just for that little bit of wiggle room, okay? And then I'm going to bring in my T-square, and we're going to just hover on the edge and make sure that this little friend goes down real straight, okay, like that. And that looks pretty good from side to side. And then just lay that down against the ruler. And then we know our first element is straight. Then we'll worry about that later. And now I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. I'm going to have some trust here. I'm going to trust the process. So really, I only need to worry, well, we'll see. Where the points of contact are probably most important, because there is that little bit of 3D embossing, so it's not going to be flush. And I could do, you know, foam squares in strategic places, but I think this is going to be fine because we're going to layer so much over it. So let's just say we're going to do this, and we're going to place this as centered. Oh, let's get that off there as we can. Okay, right about there. I think that's pretty good. Okay, knowing full well that we are going to have all of our florals off to the side. Let me just put a brick on that and let that adhere. This is very different for me. Like it's going to look so great once everything's in place. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to start over here with a little flower. Now this is where I may want to bring in a little dimension. So I'm going to take some thin foam squares. Again, I'm going to just cut them into pieces so that well, that's probably enough. Let's take one off. I like to do this with my pick because my pick kind of serves as like a finger. But here's what we're going to do. Let's go like that. And let's envision a little dimension, right? So that's floating on there. And again, I think what I'll do is just put on some music and we'll start adding the elements to the ampersand. Actually think that looks really, really cool, right? Like I don't do much with the arrangements, but now I have all these little extras left over, which is kind of neat. And now what I can do is figure out the placement for the lower greeting. All right, and the many more will not be in the center because the florals will make it a little too far down, and that's okay because what we'll do is we'll just put it off to the side a little bit. And we'll just place this right down here in the corner, about equidistant from the side to the bottom. And that is kind of nice for the offset. Happy birthday and many more. Now that is a funky design. I think it's good as is. I don't think I need to add any shine to it, although I could. I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt anything. So let me grab a few sequins. I actually really like that. Just a couple at the top and a couple at the bottom, allowing the inside just to stay beautiful and stand on its own. So little boop, boop, boop. And the thing is, there's just so much texture on this card that I don't think it needs anything else. And it's one of those cards that I hope it looks, I hope you can see the dimension in the photograph because it is really, really cool. But let's take a look at it and see here with all this beautiful texture and shine. Look at that. That is like, that's an in-depth card. You know what I mean? Like I would not be mass producing these, but look at how pretty all of that is. Oh, that for the first time ever working with either the 3D folder of the month kit or the small die, that was a cool card project to make. You can find links to the kits I used in today's card project in the YouTube description box. These are subscriber-only kits, but there are wonderful benefits to becoming a kit subscriber to any of the Spellbinders kit subscriptions, including free shipping on the kits and also receiving a 10% discount store-wide. There is no time commitment and you can cancel at any time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here with another card project soon. To see a few other card projects featuring die cutting only or predominantly die cutting, check out the thumbnails I have linked for you below, and I'll see you in those videos.